And we are back, guys. All right, guys. So how's the drawing going? Good. Questions? Any questions, anyone? Negative? All right, good. Let's continue then. And let's see, I need this right here. Okay, so I've given myself walls and a wall thickness, right? I am now actually missing, right, so polyline, this one, and this one right here, and then I'll trim this one, and this one, there we go, okay? Let's talk about, actually, before we do the hatching, let's talk about windows, okay? So for windows, we do want to split, right? And that's, I gave myself this little guide right here. That's actually the width of the window. We are not concerned with the height of the window yet. We will, because we're doing the plan, right? So we're only concerned about the X and the Z axis, which is the top view. So, but I do need to specify or set the limits, right? I mean, of this window, okay? So there's a window there, and there's a window right here, okay? Now, again, there's many types of windows. There's many ways of drawing windows, right? Let's just go with something standard, something easy, okay? And do I have, let me see, I should have already some windows, but let me take you guys through that. And it's not here. Let's see, I think I already have some. Nope, not here. Nothing. And okay, here we go. All right, okay, so the components of a window, right, can be multiple things, but we need a little rectangle, right? So let me borrow your attention real quick to draw a window, and once you draw one, you have all of them. By default, right now, I like to do a rectangle of at 2 inches. I'm sorry, and we don't need the at 2 inches width, 4 inches thick. Whoa. Rectangle at 2 inches, 4 inches. There we go. So let me do that again. Right, rectangle. I specify the first point. I do need to add the at, right? At 2 inches wide, right? Comma, 4 inches tall. Okay. What are these two things? These two things will represent the mullions. And again, it may be what you have at home. It may not be. Okay, so I draw a pair. All right. The next thing that I do, I'm going to move, right? This mullion. I don't know. Let's do a 4 feet for right now. This is gonna, well, that might be too much. Let's do 2 feet. And this is gonna be the width of the window. All right. And it's gonna change. Okay. According to the size of your window. And then we have a rectangle, which is the bottom mullion, right, off the window. And then we have the glass, and we'll represent it as a sliding window, right? So we'll do another rectangle, right? We'll do at, I think I did 2 feet wide, so I'll do 1 foot length, and then comma, 1 inch high, like that. And then I'm gonna move this from that point to the mid. From this point, I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna create another window. Oh, that's kind of weird. Like that, right? Now, that here, I'm missing a few things, right? So in reality, and this is more of a commercial window. And again, I think after this exercise, you start walking around and you start looking, right, and like, oh, okay, what's the thickness of a window? What's the thickness of a door? How tall are the doors, right? Because this right here would be more of a commercial window, right? But what I wanted to show you is how easily you can adjust things, okay? And for that, we use the points. And I was talking to Carlos about this yesterday, right? But check this out. If I select these three rectangles, and if I press F10, right, and I select these 4 points like that, I can actually move them, right, from there to there, right, and from there to there, right. I'll close that there, right. Or I can draw this channel right there. It looks kind of like that, right? But I just wanted to show you guys again the different methods of drawing this. As you'll see, right, something that I wanted to show you guys, whenever you run into this question, right, I mean, how should I draw it or represent it? I always like to reference, right, other drawings. And there's digital resources like the ones that I'm showing you right now, but there's also print ones, right? Because you're gonna have this question many times, right? I mean, how do you draw a desk? How do you draw a stair, right? Closet doors. It's a pocket door versus a folding door or accordion door, right? So this is one of the architecture Bibles. There's a couple of Bibles in architecture, but this is an important one. It's called Architectural Graphic Standards, and this is a print, right? I mean, of course, of different standards, right? I mean, wall details and soiled conditions and whatnot. But what I would encourage you guys to do is to start creating your own collection of standards digitally, right? So, for example, we have this example right here on Pinterest, right? I mean, again, you start seeing the windows right there, the bathrooms, sofas, you name it, right? And it could be improved, definitely, right? I mean, the collection that I have here, but I'll share it with you guys. Again, it's missing quite a bit of things, but I think it has at least. We started this last semester for this exercise, so it should have the main objects that we're showing here, such as kitchen, bathrooms, and then we have living rooms. Do we have a bedroom? I think so. So share, copy link, graphics standards board. So it should be right there on in the chat. Right. And feel free to complement this, right? I mean, find other drawings so that you don't have to walk around life and be like, wait, how does that represent it? So we can draw a window. Like I said, again, the 4 feet might be too big, right? But all else fails, right? Let's see, move this right here. Oops. You can have that window right there. It's kind of a funky looking window. There's something wrong with this window. I think I'll have an extra, there we go, frame. So, you know, just some simple mullions right here on the ends, and the glass, even if the glass, you know, becomes single, like that, you know, that's fine. That would be more of a window that is not operable. So we have that right there. So there's a window. I can copy this. Bring it over here. Bring it there. This one actually is a different type of window. Actually, it's a it's operable, but it actually slides up rather than sides. So actually represent it as such. Okay. So we have that. Windows. Next, we can start hatching. How can I draw a window that opens in an upward motion? Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm drawing right here. We'll just represent it like this, Antonio. Look. So we'll draw two rectangles. You know, we draw the mullions. A third one, which is the bottom frame, and then the glass piece or the sliding component. You know, we can do it at I don't know how big in this case is, but I'll do a 1 feet, and then 1 inch. And again, these are very diagrammatic drawings right here. If you're familiar with Revit, you know, I mean, you'll see that, you know, this is just kind of a communication. But to answer your question, Antonia, you can do it like this. All right, so it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles. And I'll represent, and then, you know, in the elevation, you show that it's about, we'll not talk about that. Okay, so I think all of you guys got the drafting part of the assignment. You guys know what you're doing with the do lines and whatnot. Let's start working, or let's move on to the hatching. Okay, so again, you might want to try this as well if you're following along. Familiarize yourself with the hatching command. And let's start maybe with the simple form, right? I mean, you can do and I'll get in the right layer walls. I'll do a rectangle, okay? And then I'll do a polyline that sort of represents some walls. All right. And you might also run into a condition like this, where you have a sort of an outline or a perimeter, and you want to just hatch the inside or the outline, I'm sorry. And let me copy this. Let's try it first outside of your floor plan. So that's where this layer comes in, right? Walls hatch, it's its own layer. And for some reason, I did it as a sub layer, although I'm not sure that's a good idea or not, but we'll leave it like that for right now. Activate wall hatch layer, and then you type hatch. Maybe you're wondering, what do you mean by hatch, right? Well, it's a fill, right? I mean, in Illustrator, it's the fill, right? You have the stroke and the fill. In drafting world, that's a hatch. So we type hatch, right? And you have select curves, but you have this option right here, boundary, yes or no. Right, go ahead and set boundary to yes. Right? And let's start with this one, right? So select curves, press enter when done, enter. And then it says click inside regions to keep, press enter when done, right? And you click inside, and there it is. Now this window pops up. It's the hatch style, hatch type. And again, these are all different types of hatches. Oh, and you can see them live. That's cool. So okay, so we were in solid. That's the lines, more lines, more lines, lines, grid, diagrid, dots, whatnot. I was just gonna keep it simple and leave it at solid. Oh wow, they added new features here. This is also new to me, but that's okay. We don't have to worry about that. Let's just leave it at solid. Click OK. Right, and we can keep doing that. You can do multiple ones at the same time, right? So you can do these lines right here, and then you click in there, and then you click in there. Notice that they get thicker, right? And you get that right there. So try it. Let me know if there's any questions. Now, what that means for us is that we need to create close this off, right? Because if I type hat, well, actually, let me show you right here. Right. Let me show you right here. 1 second. I know there's a question, but let me explode it. Let me get rid of that end. If I type hatch, now I select these lines right there. Notice that it's not going to work. All right. And on combined regions, it was yes, right? On combined region. Let's see. You mean boundaries? Combined regions. Combined regions. Yes, boundaries. Yes. Okay, so then what that means is that I would draw some lines right here, and I'm gonna come back and delete them. And then we'll type hatch. And this is where it's very helpful if you have your lines as polylines. But we will around. And it's very important that you select all of the lines that define the walls. 1 second, guys. I think there's a question. Let me, before I lose my train of thought right here, make sure that this works. Select all of this, right? I enter, and then I can just go click, click, click. All right. Now, you want to make sure that you do not hatch the window right here, right? That's important. And you want to make sure that you do not hatch the entrance either. Okay, try that. Let me see if there's a question. Or not. No, it was a comment. And you can, if you capped your walls, you can go back and select them and delete them. Right? Or what I did is I left it the same layer color and actually layer type. so that it blends in. And if I need to come back and for whatever reason redo the hatch, I can do that. All right. All right, so blocks. So you see right here, you'll see that I have furniture, but it's blocky, right? I mean, it's just kind of a rectangle. Is any of you guys familiar with the blocks, architectural blocks, CAD blocks? And I'm not talking like Lego blocks. I'm talking about drafting blocks or AutoCAD blocks. Wonder. All right. Well, let me show you this real quick, right? So that you can actually improve your drawing. So let me bring this over here. All right. So if you look at my drawing, right, you have a bed over here, but that doesn't really look like a bed, does it? Right? We have this other drawing right here that, I don't know, looks more like a bed to me. Okay. Now, I usually have my students draw them, right, from scratch, trace them. But I think it's good that you familiarize yourself with architectural blocks. Okay? And so what a block is a drawing, right? But it's number one, it's a vector. It should be a vector. And number two, think about it as a template. So back in the day, and you guys might still have some of these right here. Oh, well, I don't have one with the restroom, but I have one with people, right? So these are templates, right? I mean, plantillas, right? To trace people. So back in the day, there were some, you know, with a little toilet fixture, and you will have to kind of like go in and fill it in. Nowadays, and you know, this is not thing new, there's something called architectural blocks. I don't have a go-to page, but a quick Google search will send you to a place. So I typed free CAD blocks, and it actually took me a few clicks, right? Because the first 1, 2, and 3, no, actually the third one worked. The first two, I mean, it says free, but I don't know about that. I see prices right here, right? So $5, $39, $5, and don't get me wrong. I mean, the people that make these blogs, I think they should get paid, but I mean, we're also in school, so I don't think that you guys should pay for them. I know that I sure did not. And if you work at an office, if you know what you're doing, if you have drafted before, you know, you might be familiar with the blogs, you might already have your blogs. But I'm using this one right now. I found this one to work, freecats.com. I'm going to paste it right here. Oops, I guess that was not a paste, but so that you can try it. Okay, and this is really gonna hopefully help you. So I just went in there. I went to furniture. Let's go ahead and try one so that you know you're confident about your block management skills. Let's try the same one that I downloaded. I think I downloaded the double bed top view, and there's two options. Okay, this one has a larger headboard and a more sophisticated or fancier throw on it, and you can click on it. It gives you a preview, and it gives you two options, right? I mean, PDF or a DWG. The file that you want for this is a DWG, which is an AutoCAD file, but we can open those with Rhino. So we download it, we go to folder, and you'll get this file right here that, again, if you place your cursor on it, it says it's an AutoCAD drawing. If you have AutoCAD installed on your machine, but you don't have to. You can right click on it, you can go to open with, and you select Rhino. And wait for it. We will keep waiting. There it is. All right, so if this window pops up, which it probably will, let's leave it all as is. I didn't mess with it last time. I'm not gonna mess with it right now. So I'll click OK. All right, and then we have it, right? A beautiful bed. So this right now is in a separate file, right? I mean, this is the file that we downloaded. And let me show you how to bring it onto your drawing. And there's a few things that we have to be mindful about when we work with these blocks. A lot of the free blocks that you're gonna find, they're gonna be in metric, right? They're gonna be in meters or centimeters. And that, of course, is gonna be off. So let's see what we're getting this time. So the way that we bring this onto your drawing, you can select the drawing that you downloaded. And by the way, if you click on it, you'll see that this is just lines, right? I mean, just vectors. All right. So don't group it. Don't do anything like that. We're gonna turn it into a block. Okay. So select the geometry. Press Ctrl+C for copy. I'm gonna minimize this. I'm gonna come into my drawing right here, and as a matter of fact, let me delete these ones right here because it's going to not like it. And then let's paste it. Right, so Control-V, and it's gonna paste it on the origin. Let's go ahead and move it out of there. And again, you'll see that it's all just lines. And you'll see that these lines come with a layer. In this case, that's what this freecats.com layer is. The first thing that we're gonna do is actually select the object, and we're gonna change its layers, right? In this case, this goes into what layer does this object goes into, right? Correct, right? That would be a furniture. So I'll change the layer, okay? Number 2, okay? I'm gonna do a copy actually. Number 2, do you need everything? Okay, in my case, I don't have those nightstands, and as a matter of fact, I don't need them, right? So I'm gonna get rid of, whoops, I'm gonna get rid of, in this case, of what I don't need, which is those nightstands. And I'm just gonna leave the bed as an object, and I'm gonna turn that into a block. But I wanna share with you guys how to do this, and I'll create 2 blocks. One of them is gonna be the bed by itself, and the other one's gonna be the bed with the 2 nightstands. All right, so the first thing that we wanna do is we're gonna get into the right layer, right? So I'm gonna get into furniture layer, okay? The objects or the lines are already on furniture layer. So if they're not, make sure that they are. The next thing that we're gonna do is select the object that you wanna turn into a block, right? And then type block. Now it's gonna ask you for a block base point. A block base point is anytime that you insert the block or you copy paste the block, it's the point that is gonna snap to. Think about it as the origin. And really, at this point, it doesn't really matter, but I do like to select a corner, either the bottom left or the top left. I'm gonna do the top left for right now. All right, so I'm gonna specify that as the block base point, okay? Now this window pops up, and we're just giving it the attribute, the name. No, it's not even the attribute, it's the name. So name, we're gonna call this, I think this was called, what was this called? Full bed, double bed? Double bed, top view. And you can give it any name, right? I mean, but double bed, right? And again, I like to keep these short, right? Double bed. Description, I don't think it's necessary right now, but at least give it a name, right? Double bed, and then we click OK. This pops up right here with the sizes, the block attributes. Let's leave those alone. Click OK. Now notice that this now works as a group, right? I mean, if rather than this one that it has all of these multiple lines right here, it's not a group, right? I mean, it's grouped into a block, and there's a big difference on that. All right, let's try it again. Let's create another block. So select the geometry, type block, specify the base point. I'm gonna do the upper left nightstand. Let's call this double bed, right? And I'll put right here with nightstand. Double bed with nightstand. So I click OK, click OK, and now it's again turned into a block. Now, what's important about the blocks? Well, working with blocks makes the workflow much easier. Right now, it's a tiny little room that we're working with and whatnot, but let's think about the following. What if you were working in a hotel and you had, I don't know, what if you had, for whatever reason, 10 rooms, 20 rooms, right? So what if you had 10 rooms? Oh, oops, array x10 to 1. Oh, one time. All right. So what if you had all of those rooms right there, right? And for whatever reason, there's a little change on this bed right here, right? I mean, you have the original out here. And rather than going and updating each one of these drawings right here in each bed, right, we can actually edit the block, right? So if we double click on the block, and then maybe let me zoom out a little bit. So if I double click on the block right there, I'm on the block edit, right? And I can actually draw, right? So I can do a rectangle. Let's say that I have, I don't know. Oh, let's say that I have one of these things, like one of those things where I guess you take off your shoes or whatnot, right? And I draw it there, right? So again, I'm on the block edit right now. And if this works correctly, I should be able to click OK. And it appears in all of the other iterations, or I guess block copies. All right. And so that's that. And it's a good practice to start working with blocks. Okay. It actually also it saves space on the processing and on the file if you use the blocks. All right. Long story short, use blocks. All right. So now that I have my block, that was the block edit command, or you double click on it. If you double click on the block, you go onto the block edit command. And like, for example, I'm gonna get rid of that thing because I don't have that. So just okay, and notice that it gets updated in all of these block instances. But I am gonna use the bed, right? So I'm gonna bring this right here. I'm gonna rotate this 90 degrees. I'm gonna remove that. Well, actually, I might use that as a guide. Right, bring that there and get rid of this right here. Now, actually, this is a good instance. So check this out, guys. In this case, the bed that the bed block is a little bit bigger than the actual size of my bed, right? According to my measurements. But you can see that this bed has the, well, I do have the headboard and, well, whatever, right? I mean, for whatever reason, it's a little bit larger. That's okay. I can actually scale it. So I can actually move this from this point to this point. I'm going to type scale. I'm going to select that bed, scale it from there to fit there. I'm going to delete that rectangle, and I'm going to move this there. And voila, I have a better looking bed, no? So give that a shot, have fun. If you find a better or another block, free block website, feel free to share it, right? This one that I've shared with you guys, I see that it has a bathroom, right? It has a kitchen, right? You guys were drawing your cute little stoves. There it is. The top view of the fridge, kitchen sink, probably a dishwasher, etc, etc, right? Oh, this is a nice website. Oh, doors. That's cool. Oh, windows. Oh, this is cool, guys. I would actually make sure that you bookmark this page. It's gonna be very helpful at some point. Oh, this is great. This is great. And they're blocks, so that's pretty good. A landscape. Nice. And later on, there's a ton of tricks, guys. You can actually use these blocks in Illustrator, and you can color them, and there's a lot of really neat techniques that later on you can do. People. Oh, these are great. People in plan view. That's awesome. Let's go ahead and bring yourself to the drawing. Why don't we try that? You see, maybe that's you on your bed, you know, working hard on your essay, essay showing folder. We can do this one more time. And again, that's an AutoCAD file. No worries. Open with Rhino 7. Evidently, Rhino is not reading it as a block, but we'll turn it into a block. Okay with this. So there it is. I'll go into my top view. Control, is this? Yeah, these are lines. So control copy. Go to my Rhino drawing. Control V for paste. And where did it go? So let me undo that. If this ever happens to you guys, like you do a paste, right? Control V, and you paste it, and it's like, all right, it pasted, but where is it? Well, go right here to where it says zoom selected, because right now when you paste it, it's still selected, right? And it'll take you there, and you'll see that it was pasted way over here. So I can grab that and then bring it to my drawing area. And it's very common that that happens to you. All right, so there it is. Now, again, this is not a block yet. And I know because each of these lines or curves is separate. All right, so first thing, in this case, we need to create a new layer. All right, so we'll call this people. Make it active. give this a property, right? Maybe something. Let's see if that stands out. You can always change it. All right. So change the block lines into the correct layer before you turn it into a block. I would advise. You can type block. Select objects to define block. Enter. Base point of block base point. Right. You can do center like that, and then we'll call this me 2D. All right, and there you have it. Right. Now you have here, if you type block manager, it's going to show you all of the blocks that you have on this drawing. Properties, export, you know, account, and all of that. All right, and you can locate it on place. Okay. I saw there's also animals, transportations. All right, guys. So those are blocks. Have fun with those. Use them for your 4 drawings. Dimensions, north arrow, titles, and room square footage. Any questions on that? Is everyone good on those, right? We know how to do dimensions. We know how to draw north arrows. We know how to do titles. And we know how to do room square footage. I'm assuming everyone is good with that. Speak now. Yes, says Yere. Yeah. Can you show us how to do the end arrow? Absolutely. All right. So there's a number of ways that you could do this. There's probably blocks, right? There's probably a block. Like right here, I'm actually seeing that there's a technical block. Let's see what we find there. Maybe we get lucky, and I'll tell you how good this website is. Well, I don't think we're gonna get lucky right here. This is actually really good. Technical, I thought it would be more as in technical drafting, but it seems to me technology. But this is great. There's your TV, your monitor, ceiling fan, or whatnot. So I'm sure if we dig through, symbols. Thanks to the, there you go, and you're right. All right, so here it is. So these are all symbols. Now, I personally don't like that north arrow symbol or that. I think it looks too Pirates of the Caribbean. And you might be wondering, well, what's wrong with Pirates of the Caribbean? Nothing really. It's just that I'm not looking for that, right? I actually would go for something more like this, but it's up to you, right? So there it is, DWG, shown folders, and you get the idea, right? So we got lucky. We found it right here, but that's why I have this board over here on Pinterest. Where is it? Here, let me go right here. Graphics. I have this board right here, graphic standards annotation. And if I either want to be, you know, a little bit more specific, or if I find a drawing that I like and it's not a block, I can trace it. So that's why I have this ones right here, and you can always draw it right? Because these ones are going to be JPEGs or image files, and they're not going to be helpful for a block. But if you find it as a block, that's pretty awesome. So those would be my two ways, Antonia. Either I draw it or I find a block. Those would be my two options. Good question. You're welcome. What else, guys? Dimensions, north arrows, titles, square footage. Did everyone catch how to do the square footage? Because we're going to need to write down the square footage of your room, or all of your rooms, actually. Yeah, square footage. Okay. Well, kinda, right? I mean, yeah. Let's go over it. Well, I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe your room, maybe your room is a perfect square, but maybe your kitchen is not. But even in my case, like this is my room, and it's not a perfect square, right? Which is kind of awkward to say because a square is perfect, but it's not a square, right? I mean, actually, you can see that it's kind of an odd shape. So this is where let's talk about square footage real quick. This is where this layer comes in handy. I create a layer called floor outline, and this is just the outline of the floor, really, right? But a few things right here. It's important that this outline is a closed polygon, meaning that it's a closed polygon. There's no openings, right? Because as soon as you have a closed polygon, I can type area, and then it tells me right here, select the surface or blah, blah, blah. The units, that's important, the unit, model units. Hold on a second. Model units. Let's do model units. Select your polygon, which is representing the area of the floor. We press enter, and then you have it, right? 148.17 square feet. All right, try one more time. Area. Is there a better unit? Model units, micro, inch, yard mile. Nope, that's good. All right, so model units is going to do that. So the area, the approximate area for this room, it's 148 feet. So actually, I'm going to copy this text right here. And let me write that down right here. Area, 148 square feet. And approximate, okay? All right, printing. So either later this week or next week, I'll show you guys how to do well, actually, that's part of your homework. It's actually for you to do a research on Rhino layouts so that you understand the difference between model space and layout space. But for right now, we'll just do a simple, quick and dirty print. Now, we're all familiar with view, capture to file. Okay, that's great, right? But let's actually now do a print. Okay, you type print, enter. Let me borrow your attention. And actually, I'm gonna do this. Let me split the recording. This is a good moment to split the recording. So let's stop